Okay, right here you see the largest dragline to be working in anthracite mining in Pennsylvania. This is the Mauryan 8700. Now, only two 8700 draglines were ever built by Marion. The first one is what you're looking at right here. This is the first 8700 to be built by Marion. It was put into service in 1965. It was built strictly for anthracite coal mining. It carries a 300-foot straight dragline boom with an 85 cubic yard bucket. Now, that's how it was delivered by Marion. However, over the years, with changes and updates being made to the dragline, the bucket capacity was increased up to 90 cubic yards. The second 8700 that was built was shipped to Peabody Coal. And if you compare the two 8700s in pictures, you'll notice that they're very different in their design. The second 8700 had a shorter dragline boom. It was 275 feet, and also the bucket was less capacity. It was 70 cubic yards. Peabody ran their 8700 up into the 1980s, and when it was finally shut down, the company who owns this 8700 bought it for parts, which makes this machine that you're looking at right here the only 8700 to still be working in the world. So now I'll take you and I'll show you around the dragline a little bit. Now, the 8700 probably has one of the most unique designs of any dragline. And that's basically because, as I said, being that only two of these were built, the company who owns this one is actually the same company who called up Marion in the 1960s and asked them to design a dragline bigger than what Marion had currently offered in the 1960s, and thus Marion designed them the 8700. That's how this machine came into existence. Now, if you look at the back of the dragline, you'll notice it's very unique how the back end comes down and slopes inward. The purpose of that is so if there's any rocks or piles of dirt underneath the rear of the machine, the house won't hit them. When the dragline goes to swing, it'll clear them so that the back end doesn't hit any rocks or debris. Now, back here behind the rear counterweight on the dragline, here's your tub right here. It's 5 feet tall, and this is what the dragline is mounted to, what it walks on and swings off of. And right there you can see all your rollers that'll swing the dragline as it rotates. Right here you'll see this cable connected here to a piston outside. There are 4 of these located on this 8700, 2 on each shoe, so 4 altogether. The purpose of this right here, being connected to the body of the machine, is to keep the shoe stable in case the dragline swings and it hits a rock or something. The shoe won't tend to bend or twist. The piston is basically holding the shoe to the machine so it doesn't tend to move around at all when the machine goes to move or if it bumps something. The air conditioners you see installed on the side, that's common with a lot of draglines. That's just to keep the inside cool. Where that air conditioner is right there is inside the electronic room where all the breakers are and everything. So you'd want to keep it real cool inside there. Here's one of your shoes right here, which walks the machine. And there's your giant cranking gear right there. The centerpiece that you see right there, the ring, that's what's connected to the shaft that in turn will turn the cranking gear right there, that will push the shoes down, tip the back of the dragline up, and slide the whole machine backward. Now, I do have a walk around of this dragline when it was operational, taking you inside to show you all the motors and inside the house what it looks like, and I also take you inside the cab. If you're interested in seeing that video, it's on my channel. It's titled Inside a Mauryan 8700. Basically take you inside of it when it's working. Inside the house, there are 6 hoist motors, 4 drag motors, 4 swing motors, and 4 propel motors to walk the machine. Right here you'll see your cab on it. You'll see how that the cab is set out far in front of the machine. And as I said, if you've seen my one walk around of a Bucyrus 1250W dragline and also an 1150B, you might remember me mentioning that the older style for draglines, especially with the Marions, was to have the cab higher up and right in line with the house it would be mounted. To give you an idea, if you look at one of my videos of a Mauryan 7400 or 7800, you'll see how the cab is set up alongside the house instead of being out in front like this. This design here is to give the operator increased visibility. And in the front of the drag line right here, you'll see your two sheaves right up there with your dual drag line cables coming down, which go out to your drag line bucket out there. The bucket on this 8700 is 90 cubic yards. Now, when you are operating a drag line this large, you always have to have more than one bucket handy for it in case one bucket should break or needing repair, like having new wear bars welded on it, which might take a couple weeks. This 8700 has 3 buckets just for it. In case one breaks, they'll take a bucket off and slide a new one on. Right here you'll see your power cable coming in. It goes around and connects underneath to the J-box to bring the raw power up to the generators. This cable brings in 7200 volts of raw power. Here's one of your cables right here, give you an idea of how large it is running out to the dragline bucket. Now you'll notice that the cab on the 8700, there's a lot of glass around it. That's for better operator visibility. When you run a dragline this size, you need as much visibility as possible to see everything that's going on. And your dragline boom right there, as I said, it's 300 feet. Now I'll take you up on the 8700. Okay, this is the main deck of the 8700 where most operators would be when the dragline is working. There's 3 decks to this 8700. This is the main deck. There's a level above it and a level below it to get at all the machinery. Here's the operator's cab right inside there. And again, if you check out my video called Inside a Mauryan 8700, you'll see when I take you inside there what it looks like. And right here is your model for right here, Mauryan Power Shovel Company, model 8700. This door right here is to get inside, back in the house, where all the electrical, the generators, the drums are on the machine. Back here, this is a view, the operator's view of when the machine goes to walk, your cranking mechanism right there that'll push the shoes down to walk the drag line. This ladder that you see right here is for servicing, to get up on top of the roof of the machine when it's working. Now I'll take you for a walk up on the top of the drag line and show you some of the equipment that's up there. Okay, here we are up on top of the 8700. Your walkway right here to get up and down it for servicing the machine. These components that you see right here, inside there are your fans. Basically, they run to keep the inside the drag line cool when all the generators and the electrical gear is running. This walkway that you see right here takes you up to the top of the gantry, which holds up the dragline boom. Right here you can see where your 2 hoist cables come out from the top of the dragline. They go through your 2 sheaves right there, up onto the top of the boom and down to pick the dragline bucket up and down. This cable reel that you see right here, this is to give support to your dragline boom, to be able to raise and lower it. It runs up to the top there, goes over through the gantry and connects up to the boom. And there's a view looking out at the dragline boom right there. And again right there you can see all your fans, houses on the top of the dragline. And up at the very top of the gantry up there, you can clearly see where it says Mauryan 8700. But there she is, the largest dragline to be working in anthracite mining and the only one in the world, the Mauryan 8700.